Hi, I'm Renita Ezel from the Open Choice Program. For those of you that are not familiar with the Open Choice Program, we allow Hartford resident students to attend regular, non-magnet suburban schools, and then suburban families can come in to attend regular themed Hartford public schools. We're in the midst of our application process, and so I thought we'd take some time to just share a little bit more information about the program. And I am privileged to have one of our parents, Ms. Tara Johnson, with us. Her children started in kindergarten, and for those of you that are applying and looking for kindergarten educational opportunities, that's where we get the majority of our seats. So we're strongly encouraging families who are applying to kindergarten to consider open choice. Because it's going to be tough getting into the magnet schools because the majority of the elementary schools start at pre-K3. So all the pre-K4 students are going to be promoted to fill the majority, if not all, of the kindergarten seats. And so with us, you can almost have a 100% guarantee of getting a placement if you select only open choice. So Miss Tara's kids started in kindergarten.
Yes, they did.
And they're in the Avon district?
Yes, they are.
So they're in what grade now?
They're in 5th and 6th grade.
5th and 6th grade. Wow. So that's a good amount of time. So for our parents that are thinking about open choice, who have those youngsters and don't want to send them so far out, if you could tell us, if you could remember back when you first got that notice that congratulations, you got a placement in Avon, what was running through your mind and what might have been some fears that you had at that time?
Well, first of all, I was so excited to get the letter because I was waiting for that letter to come in the mail. And then one of my first drawbacks was transportation, because since it was going to be Avon, I was like, wow, it's kind of a long ride for them.
Right.
And then the cultural aspect of it, going from a predominantly black school to a predominantly white.
Right.
But everything worked out pretty well.
Good, good. So transportation, you mentioned that, and that's one of the key factors in our program and where some of the challenges are. So can you share with our families some of the challenges, if any, that you've had around transportation?
Well, our most recent challenge was last year when my daughter was still in 4th grade and she was in Pine Grove, and my son moved on to 5th and he was at Thompson Brook. And the schools are fairly close to each other, but they can take 2 different buses.
Right.
So they had one bus down the street and another bus up the street, and they were 5 minutes apart. So I can't be 2 places at once. So I called the transportation office and I spoke to Miss Cassie, who was amazing.
Yeah.
She arranged it so that the buses met at the same place.
Oh, wow.
Still 5 minutes apart, but
Right.
at the same location.
Awesome.
So it made it so much better.
Right. So with parents having difficulties with transportation, for the most part, they could just call them and share it and see if they can work things out?
Absolutely. They're so willing to help. You just let them know what the situation is. You give them a little time to figure it out, and they always come up with a solution.
Now, there are a lot of parents that will not apply to open choice because they don't have transportation and they're concerned about being able to get to the school, pick up their child if they're sick. For those parents with no transportation, what would you advise them?
I would advise a buddy system. Get in the area with someone else who goes to that same school and see if you guys can, do it together. Carpool together.
Right.
Instead of trying to take a cab or take the bus, because Avon is a trek.
Yeah. And for those that are considering, there are several districts that have accounts with livery services that can call and send a cab out to get a parent to come to a meeting or to pick you up to pick up your sick child. So you should inquire if you have an opportunity to talk with a representative from the district to see if they're receiving and utilizing the funds from the state in that way to support the families around transportation. So in regards to what have been some of the biggest benefits in regards to participating in the Avon school systems?
Well, the biggest benefit for me was that my son was diagnosed as special needs in 1st grade. So they came right in, we got our IEP, we had our monthly meetings, and he's come strides. We couldn't read at one point, now he's sitting in the kitchen reading a book.
Wow.
So it's been amazing.
That's great. And on that point, for families that are applying to have special needs children, that is not taken into account during the application process. It's only when you accept and register for a school that they will need that documentation. So please don't let that inhibit you from considering applying as well. So for the families that are considering, in spite of the fears, what would you advise them if they're thinking about open choice?
I would advise them to consider.
Yeah.
Don't let the drawbacks deter you, because there's so much more greatness that you will experience just because of distance.
Right.
Don't let the distance deter you.
Right. Thank you so much.
No problem.
So hopefully that helps some of the parents that have some of those little butterflies in their stomach about sending their child out too far. You know, there's 2,300 students in the program, so it's working for them, and some of them are taking that risk and exhibiting that courage. If you have any questions about the application process, because with open choice, again, we give a preference to those families who select only open choice. And for those who are applying to kindergarten, I highly recommend it, because last year 100% of the families, kindergarten families who applied to open choice only, received a placement offer. You cannot beat those odds. But if you have any questions, feel free to call the CREC Welcome Center. That telephone number is 860-509-3700. That number again is 509-3700. Thank you again, Tara, for sharing with us. We appreciate it.
No problem at all.